I am, I guess, technically this week the host, Andy Newman, because of our subject matter and the fact that I picked it out. We're doing sort of a revolving chair thing, and it's great. With me today, as per usual, as I love it, we have Jeremy Williams. How are you doing today, Jeremy?
I'm good. Just redoing a little bit of Bridget Wilson research here. That is the actress we were talking about, yeah.
Bridget or Brigitte?
I think it's Bridget, because you're thinking of Brigitte Nielsen, who was Dolph Lundgren's... she was in Rocky IV.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
And
I will say this. Bridget Wilson is indeed the most 90s actress ever, because she was in both of the Mortal Kombat films as Sonya Blade.
No,
she was in the first. She wasn't in Annihilation. They recast her. That's right.
Come back for Annihilation.
They recast her. But they did, and then they killed Johnny Cage in that one too. That's right. Okay, so
she was married to Pete Sampras too, right? The tennis guy.
I think she's still married to Pete Sampras.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, that sucks. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about today.
Jeremy on the IMDb, ladies and gentlemen.
Look, I'm shaking. This is Adderall that I'm shaking right now. I haven't taken any yet today, so this is where we're at.
Hey man,
can you put your Venmo handle up there, just in case?
I was gonna do Cash App. They can't track it.
All right, and hopefully more legally, we have Anthony Bain.
Hi.
Who was also pretty stoked about this. So today I'll just come right out and say it. We're talking about Chex Quest.
Last week, a volcano exploded on planet Wsic, launching particles of rock into space. One of these asteroids was captured by the squadron and brought to our labs.
We were investigating these globules as proof of cereal life on other planets when we discovered that they actually contain eggs to an evil cereal-eating creature from another dimension. We call them flemoids. Flemoid eggs are exposed to nutritional substances. The eggs hatch. Preposterous! We have a nutritional development center in the caverns of Wsic. They're growing fruit and vegetables, and they haven't had any trouble.
General, 2 days ago we lost contact with Wsic. We can only assume the flemoids have taken over.
To make matters worse, we have found that conventional weapons seem to have no effect on flemoids.
We need a volunteer to fly to the caverns of Wsic and attempt a rescue of our citizens there.
That's ridiculous! What soldier would be fool enough to enter a cavern full of unstoppable flemoids from another dimension? By recalibrating the phase frequency of our Zorchers to match that of our transporters, we can send the flemoids back to their own dimension.
We need a volunteer.
I'm from Chex Squadron, and I volunteer.
The 1996, I believe it was.
1996, that is correct.
Serial pack-in computer game.
Year of our Lord, 1996. Ooh.
Yeah.
Collectible.
Anno Domini.
Yep. And as you can see, wow.
53 hours.
I don't know if they're still good, but we'll figure it out.
We were checking.
Hopefully NetPoint 2.0 supports their new version 3.0 on their top line. But I guess we'll see. So me and the gents played through this week because it's free. I'm sure we'll put a link in the description of wherever it can be picked up. I'll get that to you later, whoever's putting this up. Really knocking it out of the park with being a host this week.
This is the NPR version of Why Should I Care?
Really, God, I am so high energy. Just still working through this Death Star full of coffee.
It's okay. He's just got some bazoiks in him, so he's just a
Yeah,
little slow.
exactly.
Bazoinks.
Yeah, we're gonna have to use our Star Trek ray gun to send you back
So yeah, all
to
right.
your comfort zone. Doodly-doo.
All right, so like I play pretty much anything I can get my hands on. Jeremy, I know actually Jeremy kind of influenced some of that too. Just with us growing up, we used to just play whatever.
Yeah, it would. Our favorite thing to do was to find games that we knew games and movies really that we knew would be bad, but that really tried to play them like in earnest and try to beat them. You know,
We
like
did, yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Just I mean, that was thanks in part to like my Blockbuster membership, which is why I only tangentially knew about movies, but mostly knew about games, which nobody asked about my career there. So that was awesome.
Well, for those of you that might not know, Blockbuster was a video chain that no longer exists.
That's something we have to say now.
Yeah, that you might have seen in movies such as Captain Marvel.
right.
Yeah.
One Last Action Hero.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
No one's gonna see Last Action Hero.
No. Unless you want to go down a Bridget Sampras wormhole, and then by all means.
Oh, well, I think you can pay top dollar for that, buddy.
See how Pete Sampras feels about that.
I bet he feels pretty good.
Wormhole is his pet name. So
And double fault, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Ew.
40 love, if you get my meaning.
broken racket.
I heard she had to go get restrung.
Oh Christ. But yeah, Anthony, you expressed an interest in this because of Doom.
Yes, I spent many hours murdering things during my teen angst years, and it got me through some tough times. I do remember getting a box of cereal in the mail and an America Online disc such as the one you held up, and playing Chex Quest. But I loved playing this game.
I spent summers with my mom a lot, and it was great because we had my stepdad was a teacher, and so we would have a Mac computer with which this game is not compatible. So I saw the commercial, and I was like, that looks like a rad game. I like games. This will never change for decades to come. And here we are. No, I like somehow finagled my mom into believing that I totally love Chex cereal, and we should get some Chex cereal. And she was like, really? This isn't like, there's no sugar in this. And I was just like,
Are you sure?
To eat healthier and play outside and stuff, right? And she gets it. And she's like, the game in the box. I'm like, whoa, cool, I guess. And then I found out that I couldn't play this all summer. So until I got back home with my dad, and he had a PC, and it was great.
I also got the cereal pack in. We did have a PC at home. I had a 486. I think it had been built from secondhand parts, mostly so I could play Richard Scarry's Busy Town as a child.
Right.
And
Edutainment.
I'm telling you, dog, I built a house. There was washing machines. It was great. I basically had a machine that was basically only for playing Busy Town and Doom. And so,
What a great mix!
I know they were the only two things, and so, so honestly, Chex Quest is actually a really good right in the middle between Richard Scarry and
The bridge.
Doom. Yeah, exactly. So I was mentioning before we started recording, I went back and played the first 2 levels just to like refamiliarize myself, but I kind of wanted to I wanted to remember it as fondly as I did, because for whatever reason, if you told me now, hey, we're going to take a game that you like and we're going to skin it with product placement and take all the blood out, I would be like, I don't think I want that.
Get out of my house.
Yeah, get the fuck out of my house. But 7 or 8 year old me or whoever it was like, fuck yeah, I'll take some Chex armor. That sounds novel.
That was part of the appeal to me too, because when I was with my mom, I was not allowed to play anything that I was not in the ESRB range of. So it was kids to adults, but it wasn't teen, mature, anything else. I think everyone was starting to come about, which is funny because I don't think this actually was ESRB rated.
Probably not. But it has
no,
Chex in it. How bad could it be?
Exactly. And there was a making of documentary that was done not too long ago because this was also made into an HD remake of this, Chex Quest HD, which is free on Steam right now. Made in the Unreal Engine, and unlike Chex Quest, will not run on everything.
It's poorly optimized. It is saying it kindly.
But it's a nice gesture. I thought it was cool that they put it together. They've been working on it for a few years. Yeah, and for a while there, they were doing a promotion where instead of buying a box of cereal to get a CD, you could buy bags of Chex Mix to get unlock codes for different characters, and
that's cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, because they did the codes based on the developers. Because I remember the Doom codes were like ID KFA, ID DQD, but they had like some different codes based on the developers for Chex Quest, right?
I actually didn't use the cheats in there, and I didn't.
I'm a cheat kind of guy.
See, and that's fine. When I played Doom, and I played Wolfenstein as a kid, and all of that other stuff, 100% cheats. Chex Quest didn't really have that level of difficulty for me.
Yeah. I mean, if you can kill as a god, though, it's just fun.
God mode, yeah.
But yep. I can't believe that they had what was a $500,000 budget for this?
I mean, they had like a straight dev team. Like it wasn't just like two dudes made it. Like it was a whole thing.
There was it was a content creation house, Digital Cafe, and they were tasked with making a game for the Chex brand. And like I said, in that documentary from before, the initial concept was basically like you were just a dude with a flashlight in a corn maze at night, and you had to collect items. And the guy running shit was like, we could do better. And then I think in a night, he typed up the concept of Chex Quest, which is these interdimensional phlemoids, which are these green blobs that you see in Anthony's background.
Booger monsters.
Yeah, absorb nutrients and can't be harmed by conventional weapons. And so they need a volunteer to go in there to get everyone out of Bazoik, which is the planet where they've appeared with the nutrient mines. And the more I say this out loud, the more it sounds like just some dude in marketing was like, I'm going to shit this out in 3 hours.
You're forgetting one of the main parts, which is who sent you to the planet of Bazoik, and that was the Intergalactic Federation of Cereals.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Yes, that's very important.
I mean, look, the IFC. I mean, they're far-reaching authority. I don't want to be stepping on dicks or anything.
No, you don't want to cross them. Not a little bit. They will send you back to your own dimension.
Yeah, they will send an intergalactic fucking cartoon tiger to fuck your shit up.
I don't know why the things pop in my head, but I just felt really sad that the voice actor for Tony the Tiger was dead. Like that just poured over me as you said that.
Well, when did that happen?
I think like 2 years ago. But we have that phrase to live forever, at least. As great as that is.
Yep.
Great.
Cookie Crisp.
So can I ask? I'm trying to remember. Like I know I played Chex Quest recently, but instead of the blood, did he get green slime on him whenever he would get hurt? Is that right?
Yeah. Whenever they would blast him with the phlemoids, the phlegm, he would get little like slime and stuff on him. That's why instead of having armor bonuses like the little helmets that you pick up in Doom, you would have cans of slime repellent.
That's right.
And they even address that in Chex Quest HD with one of the characters when you pick them up. She says, "So these are just lying around, huh?"
That's great.
Yeah.
And he has like a remote control, and that's kind of looks like a Star Trek taser type thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much a phaser.
They were told that they could not have any weapons that actually looked like guns.
Yeah, because I remember they were gonna do like it was gonna shoot like fruit, right? And then they were afraid that it was gonna promote food fighting, so they scrapped that idea. I
missed
remember
that,
reading that.
but that sounds plausible. Absolutely. Yeah. So the version you guys played that I sent you the link to was actually made with, I believe it was Z-Doom or GZ Doom, or put together with that, which is a modern port that lets
Oh God.
stuff. I think Jeremy's probably playing it right now.
I don't know why, but I think my mouse may just be running low on battery because I've been middle clicking on everything when I'm trying to scroll. So I keep opening stuff up in new tabs, and so what that was for a moment was the ad for Chex Quest. I did have it, but it started playing at such a volume that I thought I was going to die. So my apologies. Continue.
It's okay. I'm glad you're still with us.
Now you can get a free CD-ROM game inside boxes of Chex cereals. Help Chex Man battle the Flemoids and save the planet Bazoik. One free in specially marked boxes of Chex cereals.
But yeah.
Okay, we're good.
But yeah, that was just that was like one of the interesting parts of it was they were like, how are we gonna let's license the Doom engine and not have any actual guns, which also raises the question, because the Flemoids were immune to their conventional weapons, what exactly does a serial person's conventional weapon look like?
Right. What did they have? I mean, it's just AR-15s. Like, yeah, they just roll in. Yeah, there are a bunch of the Chex Quest force are actually big NRA supporters, so. They like to do when they're not fighting Flemoids, they like to do sit-ins at Chipotle.
Well, that's good. Chipotle
That's really nice.
business in these
That's the kind of backstory that I always appreciate.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, when you've had after a hard day in the nutrition mines, what else do you want but a Chipotle burrito?
Once it hits your mouth, it's just so good.
So
I can't believe they got this into 5.7 million boxes of Chex cereal.
Yeah, back then,
ridiculous.
Because if you think about the cost of because CDs weren't cheap to print in '95 or '96.
No, they were emergent media.
But they would have had to because
they were still. Keep going, Jeremy.
They to me, I feel like the way that they must have subsidized that cost with the AOL pair, because that's the only way that to me that you could get away with it.
That makes sense. Yeah, especially since I mean that's just easy money for everybody if you think about it, because AOL was everywhere.
Yeah,
literally in cereal boxes.
My grandfather still has AOL. I think he's the last one.
Some people used to make discs or like art out of all of the AOL mail-in discs that he got and or collected. Like
you would get one like every month.
I used to wing them out. I used to take the trial discs and I used to wing them out my bedroom window at cats that would fuck on the top of the fence at night.
Oh, okay.
We had some neighborhood cat, and I got really good at fucking casting those things out the window to hit, because it's like 2 a.m. You just hear and you're just like, I can't. I have a biology test in the morning, so.
This episode brought to you by Austin Pets Alive.
Spay and neuter your pets is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've learned and grown as a person since then. I'd never do that now.
To be fair, I don't think I ever hit a cat, but if a very brittle AOL disc shatters against a fence, that's usually enough to get them to disperse.
If the poorly manufactured uncircular disc happens
exactly
in the direction of a cat, I have no control over that.
To say, yeah.
What were we talking about?
Chex Quest.
Chex Quest.
Of course. That was actually to Jeremy's point. It's funny because up to that point, the FDA had not packed in, or it had no rules on packing in CD-ROMs in cereal boxes, so they had to get like an exception made for that.
Or they created legislation for that?
Well, I mean, up until this point, it had only been like stickers and kazoos. And
right.
So when it was like, oh, it's a piece of media.
pre-approved plastic, and they had no like packaging standards or anything for it necessarily. So they were just like, we gotta make sure this is okay. And then they had like 8 computers in their office to test it on, and that's all they did. They're just like, works on these, let's take it to the printer. And then they printed 6 million copies of it, sent it out, and we're like, yeah. And back then, downloading a patch or something was an event.
Yeah.
That shit was not simple. I mean, people would go to, BBS and whatever to download shareware. But that still was time that you'd have to wait to do something like that. But yeah, it was it was a hell of an undertaking. They were like, yeah, we sold 6 million copies of a game through Serial. It's just, those numbers back then were fucking astounding. Today they're astounding.
Yeah. But I think it boosted their sales like 295% or something ridiculous.
Yeah, which was surprising. You would have expected the sequel to be in the boxes again. They were like, welcome to summer, kids. Guess you're buying some more Chex cereal.
Boom.
Well, to be fair, though, I don't. Chex Mix was very much like a thing, but I don't remember if I assumed by that point in time they had been selling the Chex Mix snack bags separately.
I don't know.
But to me, that was the main reason you bought Chex. It was not to pour milk on. It was so your mom could put some Worcestershire sauce in it and whatever else you mix in to make Chex Mix.
We'll have the recipe link with the episode.
No, it's literally, it is just a bowl of Chex, and then you just pour Worcestershire sauce on top of it like a bowl of cereal, and that's Chex Mix, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of weird synergy, because a lot of times back then, I knew this because I would, in passing, kind of check out cereal boxes when I was at the grocery store, because that's the kind of life I led.
Sure.
And yeah, you would always see like the Chex Mix recipe on like the side of the box, and it's just like, hey man, you got some croutons? We can fucking have a party. It's like, I guess. Like, dump some
I just imagine your parents dropping you off at the grocery store and be like, I'll be back at 10 when they close.
Don't leave the cereal aisle, Andy.
Yeah, there was a lot of bad elements in arcades and the soda aisle. So they were just like, cereal. You stay out of the candy aisle. We'll know. You can see it in your eyes. It's caught me a couple times, but. So yeah, Chex. I do remember seeing Chex Mix eventually becoming its own product over time, but I think back then they were still sort of like, here's a fun thing to do with Chex in this cereal box, which you'd never see on Grape Nuts. Fuck Grape Nuts.
Yeah, sure. My mom used to get Grape Nuts, and what the fuck is that cereal? Because it's not grapes, it's not nuts.
That's all lies.
And I'm pretty positive that it's just a box of small rocks.
Yeah, it always seemed like kitty litter.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. Fucking cat litter.
Because yeah, you put milk into Grape Nuts, and it just kind of becomes wet gravel.
Yeah, it does. It looks like a cardboard box that you left out in the rain.
I'm not a fan.
No,
but if they put a fantastic game like Chex Quest in it, you bet your ass we'd buy it.
Yeah, but for whatever reason, Grape Quest just doesn't have the same ring to it for some reason.
Yeah,
that would totally be a Kool-Aid spin-off series that I would totally buy.
Yeah, that would be Kool-Aid Man and the Grapists.
Oh
wow. Wow.
Oh.
So yeah,
but so you can see where I'm at today. I don't know. I've had a long night. I went to bed early last night.
And
sexual assault. Yeah, here we are. Yeah, fantastic.
Here we are now. Entertainment.
I've also been going down completely separately. I have been going down a Nirvana wormhole recently. So,
can I ask though, in all seriousness, because there is such a similarity to Buzz Lightyear, like, did Chex Quest come out before or after? Because it seems like they watched a Simpsons episode in Toy Story and they're like, "Cool, we got it."
So it had because it came out in 95. So did Toy Story. So
that was the same summer.
It would have had to have been the same summer. So they would have been in development kind of parallel.
I mean, it's got the whole astronaut onesie thing going on.
Yeah.
That's I think the common thread, but yeah, that's an interesting similarity right there. I will say that my one big regret before setting this up was not setting up some Zorch match with you fellas. That would have been
Yes.
fun. Or just incredibly frustrating. It probably would have just been me trying to set things up, swearing, and everybody's time being wasted. But
I mean, that sounds pretty fun to me.
I did love going through these, and I have watched a couple of walkthroughs where impressively some people have been able to get through the game in like 10.5 minutes.
oh yeah,
All 5 episodes.
that sounds like speedrunning. You mean all 5?
Yes. Pretty impressive. Sorry, I don't know the lingo.
No,
No, I
okay.
mean, they are. To be fair, I think they are referring to them as episodes in Chex Quest, even though they're just levels.
There are 3 episodes of Chex Quest, much like there are, I believe, I'm going to take some shit from some people for botching this, but 4 to 5 episodes of Doom, because there were initially 3.
Yep.
And then they added a 4th for Ultimate Doom. And then technically they released Sigil recently, which was John Romero just being like, I'm going to release a WAD. It's going to be episode 5, set after Thy Flesh Consumed, I think it was.
Yeah, and also the level design is kind of shitty, but we won't talk about
Really
that.
depends on who you ask.
Right. I mean, because it is a direct, it's exactly like the Doom levels, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very Romero.
Yeah, you're right. Yes, it's
They're motherfuckerly.
Yeah, if that's what you're into.
Well, who do you like killing more, Nazis, Flemoids, or just Hell's Spawn?
Or Hellspawn. Yeah, it's not like the secret levels in Doom and Doom 2 where you see classic id characters like the SS and Commander Keen being hanged.
It's nice.
Yeah.
What I think is interesting is of all I mean, Doom is by far maybe the most modded game of all time. Like
the community's still alive, and
it's still alive. Yeah, sure. So
really cool shit with the original. I mean,
it's not that shocking in hindsight that Doom was the platform with which they decided to use to make this whole thing, but
no.
But it's funny looking at it in '95, going, I think we'll use Doom. I think that sounds good for our children's like cartoon pack-in. I think Doom seems like the reason.
Forces of Hell, informing people of nutrition
and of the dangers of phlegm.
Don't get phlegm. Phlegm is bad.
I like that. Basically, that phlegm repellent is just it's just Mucinex.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just you just got cans of expectorant lying all over.
Yeah, and bowls
God.
and then they like replaced the soul sphere that gave you an extra 100 health with a well-balanced breakfast, including Chex cereal, which was just fantastic.
How about we talk about Andrew Benson, who was the lead sound designer and composed all the music for Chex Quest and Chex Quest 2.
Yeah.
I assume it's just MIDI that's running on. I didn't do that much digging. So, but it has that very 90s like bit crushed instrument sound that feels right to me. Like that's what video game music sounds like. And granted, I grew up a Genesis kid, so I grew up with FM modulation music, which is just just a screechy butthole music. It's horrible.
Crunchiest.
Yeah, I grew up with the crunchiest of all of the video game sound, and so to go back and listen to these crystal clear MIDI samples on a PC is it's really something else.
Yeah, I think that's emulated. It's got to be emulated.
It's emulated at this point, yes, but I mean, even back in the day, my old PCI, not even Express, just regular old PCI slot sound card was pushing out the jams for sure.
I think the theme was actually pretty fucking good to Chex Quest.
They did a bang up job. It's a fucking solid
It's a good game, yeah. And what's funny about it is there were a lot of games that came out that were not reskins of Doom that had lower budgets. You know, like a $500,000 budget for a PC title in '95. Like,
That was insane.
How long did it take you to beat Chex Quest this time, Andy?
I want to say like maybe an hour and a half. I was just kind of like sitting at my dinner table on my laptop and just like I had mouse look disabled because I wanted to stay faithful. I spent a lot of time trying to get to a secret level that I forgot how to get, or not a secret level, a secret area that I forgot how to get to, specifically the digital cafe, like staff room. Missed it, but that's where you can get the game's BFG, the LAZ device.
LAZ, I like that.
Yeah. I just got that. Shit. It's been 25 years.
You get a pass, man.
What were some highs and lows for you guys? Just let's family dinner table time.
Well, I think Jeremy. Oh, go ahead, Jeremy.
no, you're fine. Yeah, if you want to talk about me, I'm happy to let you do it.
Oh yeah, okay. I think Jeremy kind of made a parallel that spoke to me because, you know, much like watching something like Last Action Hero that we talked about that may have known as bad in our youth, but still showed an appreciation for, or the first Ninja Turtles or something like that. The memories of Chex Quest proved to be fonder than the replay for me. It's still fun, but because I love Doom so much, I just really miss the blood and the pain and fury that could be unleashed. But I did appreciate the fact that they clearly spent a lot of time and care in making this the best that they could for a cereal box game, which they said was valued at $35 if you were to pay for it, retail, but they just threw it in the cereal box. Like, they did an amazing job. And the fact that it's had a legacy to live on as long as it has is a testament to the fact that it is good.
For me, it definitely was like a blast from the past. And the thing that strikes me about all sort of games of that era is that they all basically play the same. You know, it's just switches and keys for the most part. But something about, like I said, the music I find particularly charming, given that there were a lot of games that came out in that time where the music was just like the bare minimum. But the fact that they went in and were like, no, we're gonna make a soundtrack that's like atmospheric to, because the Doom music would have been inappropriate. That would have been wrong.
Yeah, that and having to pay Bobby Prince for his covers of other songs.
Oh yeah, right. of Metallica and Slayer music. Yeah, exactly. But in general, what surprised me about it was how those games still feel like. If I go play a PS1 era 3D shooter, ass garbage. Just like all the controls are shit. You just can't do anything. I went and played Siphon Filter on the PS1 recently. That's third-person shooter, but even still, holy fuck, is that game like unintuitive to play?
Yeah, at a time before the dual stick controls, it's
rough. But you go back,
to say the least.
You go back and play this though, and it's like, oh yeah, this feels like a game I can just play. WASD it, space, yeah, we got it, it's fine. And so that it's beautiful in its simplicity. And like I said, looking back on it now, seeing how robust the Doom modding community still is, they knew something that other people didn't, because they were like, oh yeah, this is the platform, this is the thing that we're going to build our reputation on. Is anyone from Digital Cafe still making games?
I think they're technically defunct, but
I know the company is defunct, but I'm not sure if any of the developers are still around. I mean, it was fucking 25 years ago.
That research. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them still are making games, just at least in their spare time. It's kind of where I've gone in my pursuits of games. Is just like I'm just going to do this in my spare time. Doing games as a living is hard.
Yeah.
Too many
Oh, there
don't have
there also
a-
is there's an AVGN, if anyone's remembers the internet from 2009. He's still making videos.
Oh yeah.
There's an AVGN on Chex Quest that he made last year that's actually pretty good if you want to check
Oh
it out.
yeah. Yeah. Typically, when it comes to more recent Doom mods, the one that everybody talks about is Brutal Doom.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember very distinctly in that he used a wad masher to basically combine the
Brutal Chex Quest.
Yeah. So you're
That
just
sounds
like,
great.
yeah, as the Chex warrior, you're just flipping dudes off, screaming obscenities at them, and like pulling them in half with your hands, but also sending some back to their own dimension.
Of course. And
So-
finishing it all off with a balanced breakfast, including Chex cereal.
Absolutely. You can't do one without it. I decided to subject everyone to playing Chex Quest, so clearly I have a very soft spot for it. But
You know what game I am going to play now because of all of this? I'm going to go back. I'm going to go play Hexen. And what I really wish is that there had been a Chex Quest Hexen mashup called Chexen, where it was a first-person RPG in the Chex Quest universe.
Medieval Chex Quest. That
Yeah.
would have been.
I'm
You
just
know that-
saying, Chexen is the mod that I need in my life.
That's not a terrible idea.
No, I'm interested in that.
Do you think Pete Sampras and Bridget played Chex Quest? In 95?
It would be hard for you to have been a 90s icon like Bridget Wilson or Pete Sampras and not been at least tangentially aware of Chex Quest. Chex Quest swept the nation, okay?
So, I actually ran into my garage this morning because I was like, I gotta have my fucking disc. I gotta have my fucking disc and be like, thanks, Mom.
Uh-huh.
Oh, right. There were other cereal games too, by the way.
Oh, shit. Bonus round.
Yeah. So, evidently,
I did talk about that Captain Crunch one. Yeah.
I didn't check out the Captain Crunch one. I wanted to.
Boggle?
Yeah, a few years later, General Mills was like, let's do it again. And instead of commissioning a bunch of people to make original properties, they just re-released a bunch of Hasbro games with, and in this one, because you can tell time has passed, and I need to not have a backwards ass.
No, it's not backwards to us, so it's
It's
okay.
not backwards.
Oh, it's not too bad?
No.
It did say America Online. Is that correct?
Yep, new version 6.0.
Ooh.
Holy shit.
Also on this CD, yeah, and it's collect all 5 CD-ROM games. So there was Boggle, there was Monopoly, there was a bunch of others. And then there was also, at one point, this fucking, it's really in there, this damn Atlantis the Lost Empire search for the journal, which was weird. Like, there was a phase, apparently, where this happened, and it didn't have the same traction as Chex Quest.
I love that you were part of all of those phases, though. That's incredible.
I have a problem.
You just rolled with all of it.
Dude, if it, like, my parents, they were like, you have an obsession and it's going to destroy you. And it did. But I bounced back, so I'm okay. No,
Hey, here we are.
Family's good?
No. I would have to come up with ways of finagling, like, demo discs out of my parents because I couldn't be like, hey, give me 60 bones for a new PC game. I'd be like, I mean, it's better than something for the Nintendo, which is going to go out of date and you're going to want more of those. That's a rant for another day. But yeah, so yeah, I'd wind up with all kinds of demo discs and shit. And that's where all of this shit and these fuckers came from.
This fucker. These fucks.
I don't have a machine with an optical drive in it anymore. This is where I'm at. So yeah, what I was going to say was to just cap things off. Should you care, Jeremy?
I think yes. I honestly do think that you should care because this is the thing that doesn't happen anymore. Like no one product placement is a reason to make things shittier and worse. Like it's an excuse to like, oh, this is going to be free and we're getting paid from advertising anyway, so I'm not going to make this good. Like this is just a sunk cost and it's just promotional material. But what fucking General Mills did is they were like, no, let's hire a real game developer and let's have them make an actual thing that people would want. And that's why because no one talked about how General Mills printed 6.5 million of these fuckers, and then it was an incredible failure, and everybody hated it. It seems it was successful, and so this is maybe the only, like, it might be the most successful piece of product placement that I can think of. Because you're right, I didn't fucking buy Chex, but I did after Chex Quest, and I continued to buy them post Chex Quest.
Yeah.
So just like as a piece of like media and as like a advertising and marketing study, yeah, sure.
Genius.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anthony.
I agree 1,000%. It's one thing to piggyback on what Jeremy was saying, to make a shitty game, but they made something great, something fun, something that even after all these years, I still remember vividly, and I remember playing, and I remember how I felt while I was playing it and the excitement that I had when it came out. All of those feelings flooding back as soon as I see this beautiful character that saved us from the Flimways and continues to save us in new forms. I'll be forever grateful, and I do care very much. Thank you.
I clearly loved it. Because
yeah, you still have your disc.
I still have my disc. It's not like riddled with holes or like ground to a fine powder and like thrown into the ocean or anything. Which would happen if, like trending on Twitter would be like R.I.P. Fred Chexter, which, by the way, is the Chex Warrior's name. A lot of people don't know that. It is Fred Chexter.
Frederick Chexter.
I don't expect anyone to remember that after we're done recording today, but
I'll never forget.
Say his name. Yeah. And just this fucking smarmy look on his face. I'm doing hang on a minute. Just everybody hang the fuck on a minute.
Hang the fuck on.
When you actually beat the game, this is what you saw. Here, I'm going to do a quick screen share.
Sha-la-la-la.
That, just
Ooh.
look at that.
I'll be seeing you.
At ChexQuest.com.
Almost looks like Buzz Lightyear mixed with Powdered Toast Man, kind of.
God, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's the illustration made by Charles Jacoby. And it haunts me sometimes, but I still love it. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys, for meeting me at 10 in the morning to record this podcast about a children's
breakfast time for breakfast game.
Breakfast game, yeah, exactly.
How many of us have actually eaten breakfast already?
Not me.
I had some brisket and egg tacos.
Nice work,
It's
Anthony.
delicious.
I had a mug of coffee.
Yeah, I'm working on that too.
Oh, you
I haven't had my coffee or my stimulants yet, so I'm struggling a little bit.
Thank you guys again for hanging out and shooting the shit with me about an old cereal game. You guys want to do some plugs?
Follow me on Instagram at jdub_music. I've been recording some shit recently, so maybe at some point I'll post it somewhere.
Hell yeah, man. Cool. Tony B.
You can find me at ADB3K via Instagram. And we are working on the Why Should I Care Instagram coming soon. So we'll be able to have our content specific to our madness here. Yeah.
Hell yeah.